Welcome back to Words for the Journey, Words of Faith, Hope, and Life for the journey that we're on. We're back talking with Pastor Brian Thompson about faith. And Brian, I was wondering, is there someone in the Bible that you would point to as an example for us of what faith is supposed to look like? There's so many characters in the Bible, but is there someone you know, either personally or just for us as Christians, we should look to and say, hey, that's a great example for us of what faith is?
Yeah. I think, when you look at scriptures, as you said, there are so many people exhibit faith in various ways. The person I like is Abraham, because when we talk about faith being something that takes intensity and effort versus something that takes trust and confidence, I see that in Abraham. It seems to me that when he has this relationship with God, which would have been very strange for him, not knowing anything about Yahweh, the God who becomes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as we know it. But meeting this deity who then takes him on board and enters into a relationship with him. And it seems to me that he values that relationship so much that he's willing to leave his country and his people, the city where he was, his extended family, to follow after this God who then calls him out to take him on a journey somewhere. And maybe this is, apropos for what we're talking about, the journey. But Abraham has this confidence, this trust that if he follows the leading of this God, that is going to be something good. And for me, that's really kind of the essence of biblical faith, is trusting that God is a good God, and God is going to lead us in a way that's going to be good for us. For me, that's kind of the basics of what biblical faith is about. So when Abraham leaves and follows after God, I think it displays that confidence, that trust, that things are going to turn out well for him. And he's willing to risk it all and leave everything behind for that. Of course, we see that once he does that, as he journeys, there are ups and downs. There are times when he's doubting, there are times when he's afraid. But throughout, we see this trust, this confidence that things will work out, that what God has promised to him is going to come true. And this is the funniest thing. When I was teaching in Korea, I was teaching Bible class to many non-believers.
Really?
Many of the kids in the class did not believe in God or in Christianity. And so I was struggling to know how to teach the Bible to these students. And one of the things I did was to show an Abraham film. And after watching the Abraham film, they would write a critique on that or a response to that. And the one thread that came through almost each and every paper that I got, I say, what did you learn about God through this film of Abraham and the life of Abraham? And the one thing that came through was, God always keeps his promises. And I was so moved by that. I thought, if this is something that they could learn from me in Bible class through the life of Abraham, then that is a truth that maybe I couldn't even teach them in other ways. But that's the essence for me about what it is about. And Abraham learned that God always keeps his promises. We know that at times he struggled, and it took him many, many years at times to see that happen, especially like with his son Isaac. The moments where he was tested in different ways, I think he responded with that confidence and trust, even sacrificing his son Isaac, where he said he trusted that God could even raise Isaac from the dead. He had that confidence and that trust. So when I think about faith in the Bible, I look at Abraham and I see a confidence and a trust in the God who was leading him and in his relationship with this God and in the promises that this God had made to him.
So Abraham, although maybe 4,000 years ago, still speaking to us about what faith can look like or should look like, the journey of faith with God.
I think so. I think that we call him the father of our faith, for many reasons. But one of the things that I've seen in his life is that there were times of doubt. And there were times when he was afraid. There were times when he maybe didn't even tell the truth. But through that, he had a confidence, he had a trust in God, and he followed God's leading. And he would sacrifice maybe even his own ambitions for what God had planned for him. And to me, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for sharing that with us about Abraham, the father of our faith. Thanks for joining us for Words for the Journey.